Have you ever stopped to think about your brain as something you can actually manage? Not just this mysterious black box running the show, but a powerful system that you're in charge of. This isn't some far off science fiction idea, it's what modern neuroscience is telling us right now. We're going to unpack this idea that you are not just a passenger along for the ride, you're the driver.
Here's a question that I think a lot of us worry about, right? This idea that our brain power, our personality, pretty much our whole potential is hardwired from day one, and there's not much we can do about it. Well, get ready, because that is one of the biggest myths we are going to bust today.
Okay, so let's get right into the most important game-changing concept here, neuroplasticity. This is the simple, incredible idea that your brain is not a fixed, static organ. Not at all. It is constantly changing, adapting, and literally reorganizing itself based on your experiences, your thoughts, and your actions. Every single time you learn something new, you are physically rewiring your brain. So, what does that mean? It means your brain is dynamic, not dust.
Now, to really get how we can support our brains, we first got to meet the key players, right? So let's take a quick, no jargon allowed tour of the main parts and what they actually do for you every day. So first up, right here behind your forehead, you've got the frontal lobe. The best way to think about this is as your brain's CEO, its chief executive officer. It's in charge of all the high-level stuff, planning your day, making big decisions, judging situations, and, this is a big one, controlling your impulses. It's the part of you that really shapes your personality.
Okay, now let's go a little deeper inside. Tucked away in there is the hippocampus. This isn't just some dusty old storage unit for memories. It is the memory maker. It is absolutely critical for taking new experiences and facts and weaving them into your long-term memory. Every new thing you learn, every moment that matters, your hippocampus is working overtime to make it part of who you are.
So what makes all this magic happen? Well, it all comes down to these guys. Neurons. You have billions and billions of them, and they form this massively complex network, this living wiring in your head. They're zapping information around using a mix of electricity and chemicals to make every single thought, feeling, and action possible.
So how do all those neurons actually talk to each other across those tiny little gaps between them? They use these chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. You can seriously think of them as billions of tiny text messages being sent every single second, carrying instructions for your mood, your focus, pretty much everything.
All right, so now that we've met the team, we have to talk about what can threaten them. Because just like any high-performance machine, your brain is vulnerable. There are some real-world things that can cause some serious damage to the hardware.
Let's start with one of the most direct threats out there, excess alcohol. I mean, we all know its short-term effects, but what we really need to focus on is the long-term, chronic use that can cause permanent structural damage to the brain itself. And we're not just talking about memory lapses here. The real danger is so much deeper. This quote really spells it out. Excessive drinking directly attacks your brain's CEO, that frontal lobe we talked about. And this can fundamentally change who you are, affecting your personality, your mood, everything. Next up is something we all deal with, stress. But we're not talking about a tough day at work. We're talking about chronic, relentless stress. See, this isn't just a feeling. It's a physiological state that's basically a full-on chemical assault, flooding your brain with hormones that, over time, are just incredibly corrosive. And look at this comparison. It is just wow. On one side, we know that chronic stress can physically shrink the hippocampus, our memory maker, while making our brain's fear center hyperreactive. But here's the amazing part, the good news. Practices like mindfulness can literally do the opposite. They can reduce the gray matter in that fear center and help you regain control. It's neuroplasticity right there in action.
Okay, threat number 3, smoking. And yeah, we all know what it does to our lungs and our hearts, but what about our brains? It's a huge threat there, too. It can starve parts of the brain of oxygen and the vital nutrients it needs to function.
So, what does that risk actually look like? Well, get ready for this number. The research is clear. Current smokers are a staggering 30% more likely to develop dementia. The link is direct, and the risk is absolutely significant. And, of course, the list doesn't stop there. We also have to be mindful of things like consistently poor sleep, a diet full of processed foods, not moving our bodies enough, social isolation, and, of course, protecting our heads from injury. All of these play a huge role in our long-term brain health.
All right, enough doom and gloom, right? Let's flip the script, because this is where it gets really empowering. There is so much we can do. So let's talk about an actionable maintenance plan to keep your brain in peak condition for life.
It really boils down to 4 simple but incredibly powerful pillars. First, you've got to fuel your brain with the right foods. Second, make quality sleep an absolute non-negotiable. Third, get your body moving regularly. And fourth, stay connected to other people. These aren't just nice ideas, they are fundamental.
And when we talk about brain food, we're not just guessing. The science is solid. Just listen to this. Research consistently shows that a Mediterranean-style diet has a powerful, protective effect on the brain and can even help boost our mental health.
And here's where it gets really fascinating. It's not just about the nutrients themselves, it's also about your gut. There is a powerful, two-way communication superhighway between your gut and your brain. It's often called the gut-brain axis. And to put it simply, a healthy gut sends positive signals to your brain, influencing everything from how you think to how you feel.
So, when you put all of this together, what's the big picture here? The message becomes crystal clear. You are not a passive victim of your genetics or your age. You are the primary user and the lead caretaker of your own brain. Let's bring this all the way back to the beginning. Remember that revolutionary idea of neuroplasticity? Your brain isn't fixed. It is dynamic. It's constantly being shaped and rewired by the choices you make every single day. What you do today literally builds the brain you're going to have tomorrow. So in the end, it really all comes down to a simple choice. On one side, you have the things that damage the hardware: excess alcohol, chronic stress, smoking. And on the other, you have the powerful upgrades: a brain-healthy diet, quality sleep, regular exercise, and deep social connection. The choice of which path to follow? Well, that's up to you. And that leaves us with one final, powerful question. Look, this isn't about overhauling your entire life overnight. That's not how change works. It's about taking that first step. So what's the one small, positive change you're going to make for your brain starting today?